Hello and welcome back to another one of my vlogs. I thought today's subject would be water births. So I used to do a topic time within the Yoga Tums pregnancy yoga sessions, but was finding that it took up so much time that people were missing out on yoga, and I didn't really want that jeopardising. So I am doing all my notes are still here from before, so I'm just going to go through them with you. Right, first of all, let's talk about who's got what. So Nottingham City Hospital Sanctuary and QMC have got 3 birthing pools. Okay, Derby Royal have got 2. If you wanted to give birth at home, you could actually hire a pool. All the equipment would come with it, everything that you needed. You can join the Facebook group, the Nottingham Home Birth Group, and they meet every 3rd Friday at the Deaf Centre. Okay, so you could actually join that group and find out who's hiring out. I think they've got several pools that you can borrow if you wanted to go down the route of home birth. Okay, how can I use a birthing pool during labour for a water birth? Okay, so whatever stage of labour that you're in, you will find that the sensation of the warm water on your body helps you find a really comfortable birthing position. Okay, does it make any difference whereabouts you are in labour? That sensation will help ease and relax you. Okay, the water is going to work better for you, I would say, though, in terms of labouring until you're around about 5 centimetres dilated. And you need to keep the temperature of the water, I would say, on or below 37 degrees for the first stage of labour. And then around about 37 to 37.5 during the second stage. Warm water can actually help your contractions come on quite strongly and frequently. Or if your back is uncomfortable and you want to relieve a feeling of pressure. People that are experiencing back-to-back labour will find that in itself just an absolute gorgeous welcome relief. Partners can actually get into the pool if you want them to. However, from speaking to other people, I would say that most ladies just want to be in their own personal space. And a really good tip to remember as well is to keep drinking. Because of the fact that you're using all this energy and also the heat of the water, you can actually dehydrate pretty quickly. So make sure that you take a drink with you. Now, I use one of the Super Sparrow bottles, which is brilliant because you can load ice into it, you can load your drink into it, and it'll keep things cool for a really, really super long time. It might be worth investing in one of those bottles, regardless of what kind of labour that you end up having, whether it's in a pool or not. Keeping hydrated during labour is absolutely essential. Okay, so the downside to drinking, obviously, is the fact that you need to keep emptying your bladder, and you do need to keep that empty. If you've got a really, really full bladder, then your baby's going to have extreme difficulty working his or her way down that birth canal. The bladder needs to be emptied frequently, okay, to leave as much space as possible in your pelvis. So there may be a few reasons why you'd want to leave the pool. Obviously, to go to the toilet. If you feel like you're becoming a little bit overheated, you might want to leave the pool, as that can cause distress for you and your baby. You may want to leave the pool if the labour is progressing quite slowly. So you might try moving into different positions or getting out, walking around for a while. That can help. Squatting and kneeling on all fours or going up and down the stairs can help move the baby into a really good position for birth. If you do feel like you want to leave the pool, please don't be afraid to say to your midwife that you want to. Don't feel like you're being a nuisance in any way. Just tell them, I really don't want to be in here, and they will move you. They're there to help you in whatever capacity. So just let them know that you want to move, and they can help you perhaps look at different strategies to use in order to give birth. So you know your body best, you know what it needs. and what is going to comfort your body during labour. It's quite a natural feeling. You'll be quite intuitive really when it comes to labour, and as much as you probably may not think so right now, but you will find that will kick in. Different positions that you can get into, that's the beauty of water, because your body's being supported so well. You may find yourself being able to get into a position that previously, if you was on dry land, might actually find uncomfortable, because you're so weightless. Okay, so you could perhaps try kneeling, leaning on the side of the pool, or you could try, say, squatting, again holding onto the sides of the pool. You could use floats underneath your arms for support, floating on your back with your hands holding the sides and head supported on a waterproof pillow. You could try floating on your tummy with your head turned sideways, just resting on a pillow. There's lots and lots of different ways. And the good thing is that you'll be able to move about, glide about in the water a lot more effortlessly than you would be on dry land. You know, you're a lot more supported. So what's the midwife role during the labour process in the water? So their job essentially is to make sure that everything is maintained and keep an eye on you. So they're ensuring that the temperature of the water is right. They're going to help you get in and out of the pool, checking your temperature, the pool's blood pressure, that they're all in healthy ranges, and also keeping a check on how often your contractions are coming, and then encouraging you to keep emptying your bladder, and also obviously monitoring the baby's condition. So if they have any kind of inkling whatsoever that baby's in any kind of distress, they will help you get out of the pool and then get you into a much better position and look at different strategies. They may at some point ask you, for whatever reason, to carry out an internal examination whilst you're actually in the water. Or she might ask you to do one after you've just been to the toilet while you're out of the pool. Your baby's going to be monitored while you're in the pool using a handheld Doppler with a waterproof cover. So they will be continuing to monitor those vibrations and listen to the baby's heartbeat. You can actually use pain relief whilst you're in the pool. You can use Entonox, which is gas and air, and that can be inhaled during labour and birth. And Entonox can actually be supplied to you if you decide on having a home birth. So it's worth mentioning to your midwife if that's, you know, something that you might need. You might be asked to leave the pool, and some of these reasons include perhaps a change in baby's heart rate. Maybe there is some meconium in the water, which is a little release of baby's poo. If there's any kind of bleeding during labour from the vagina, they will ask you to leave. If you develop any kind of high temperature, pulse or blood pressure, this is usually a sign of an infection, so they'll want to remove you from the water and get you treated as soon as possible. If the water generally becomes a complete mess, if it becomes heavily soiled, then obviously it's not hygienic for you to be in there, so they will get you to move. Try and get out of the pool and go to the toilet as much as you possibly can. Obviously that can help avoid the heavily soiling situation. So if the labour process does slow down after around about 2 hours, it might be wise to leave the pool. It clearly isn't helping you, but you can always get in again later. So it's always just worth knowing that you can get in and out of the pool. The one thing I will say to you as a little tip is, if you are planning on having a water birth, I would say make sure that you take several, if you're planning on wearing, say, a bikini top, make sure that you take several of them, because there's nothing worse than getting out of the water, getting yourself dry, and then wanting to go back later only to find that bikini is cold, soggy, horrible. Have lots of spares if you want, because you've got to try and plan for the fact that you might want to go in and out. So you will get out the pool for the placenta delivery. They'll need to make sure that everything is a-okay with that. So when you get out, you're going to need to be wrapped in a warm towel or a soft warm robe. So it's worth taking your bathrobe. If you're wearing a t-shirt in the water, it's best to take it off. so you don't cool down too much, because you will rapidly cool down once you're out. In terms of baby, what happens when baby's born in the water? So people get a little bit scared about this, is the fact that they think that as soon as baby's head pops out that they can't breathe. So the breathing reflex doesn't actually start until the air hits the baby's face. So you'll see the head being born, and aim to keep your bottom and their head under the water. So this just encourages the breathing reflex to not start too soon. So after that, the next contraction likelihood is the baby will be out on that next contraction. Your baby won't float as there's no buoyancy, because there's no air in the baby's lungs yet. So the feeling of the air on the cheeks, on the skin, and that change in temperature will actually trigger a breathing reflex. And don't forget at all times that your baby's still getting oxygen through the umbilical cord. Okay, so they don't actually need to breathe until that first sort of touch of the air on the skin, and it will trigger that reflex. Usually your midwife will gently lift them gently to the surface of the pool, face first, and then hand them straight to you. And he or she may guide you to lift him slowly yourself, being careful not to pull on the umbilical cord. So cuddle up your baby straight away. Maybe see if you are deciding on breastfeeding, this is an ideal time to let them latch on. Keeping everything submerged and lovely and warm. So one of the benefits of water birth is that the babies born underwater are actually a lot calmer than babies born in the air. So they may not cry or move vigorously, so don't be shocked if there's not a lot of noise and movement coming out. It's just they are a lot more chilled out. So baby will actually your midwife will check the baby's colour of the skin to make sure that they're breathing properly, and checking everything just to make sure everything's all right. And then just enjoying your baby's first movements as they start to look around and become curious at what's around them. If the pool is kept at body temperature and you and your baby want to breastfeed in the pool, this is an ideal time for it will help you the contract of the uterus to expel the placenta. Make sure the baby's warm enough. You may be asked to leave the pool for this. I would say the likelihood is pretty high. Some women tend to feel faint during that last stage of labour, so it can be difficult to get out of the water. So for safety's sake, that's one of the reasons why a lot of hospitals will say, come on, let's deliver the placenta out of the pool. So there's lots of advantages for giving birth in the water. It increases relaxation massively. I mean, I can't stress that enough. You know what it's like if you've been in a hot tub, you just feel all of your muscles just relax, and that relaxation of the muscles is essential for giving birth. When we're really, really tense, it can actually make things feel a lot more painful. So when you're relaxing and all the muscles are relaxing, it just helps everything run a lot more smoothly. You'll also feel really supported by the buoyancy in the water, so you can move easily from one position to another. And also it relaxes the perineum. So you've probably heard of the procedure that we do or can do, where you're actually massaging the perineum to actually soften the tissue there. The water will actually relax all that perineal tissue and soften it, so that the likelihood of tearing is actually a lot lower. And it also lowers the blood pressure. So it is totally win-win. There's not really many disadvantages. I would say the only disadvantage is the fact that it can cause frustration when those pools aren't available, because it can get really, really busy. If you've got lots of other women in a hospital at the same time as you that want to give birth in a pool, obviously you're going to feel disappointment. And I would say if that is the case, if you found yourself at the hospital and you really want a water birth, just ask them if you can actually just have some time in the bath, so at least you're getting that warmth of the water on your body until a time when that pool then becomes vacant. So I hope that has been helpful in some way. As I said before, it's really, really worth joining the Nottingham Home Birth group. Even if you kind of decide anyway that home birth isn't for you, There is a lot of helpful tips and advice for mums to be on the Nottingham Home Birth group. So look it up and join the group, because it is really awesome. Okay, so thanks ever so much for listening, and we shall see you very soon. Bye.